Hello everyone, and welcome to another book review in Alex's reading room. This time we are going to be reviewing a little book called Kowloon Walled City 1984 by Nicholas Morine. I apologize if I'm getting the pronunciation wrong. So this book is 262 pages. It's an action-adventure book, and I have rated it a 2 out of 3 in all categories, although some might be incorrectly rated. Please feel free to correct me in the comments. For the sexuality, I have rated a 2 out of 3. It doesn't show anything explicit, but it gets a little hot and heavy sometimes. The language I have is 2 out of 3, and that's mainly because I cannot actually remember if there are any F-bombs in this. If there are, please feel free to correct me, because that instantly earns it a 3 out of 3. So, yes. For the substance, I have it as a 2 out of 3. There's definitely alcohol and tobacco. I know Kowloon Walled City is very famous for opium dens, and if there is, that qualifies as 3 out of 3. Again, please feel free to correct me, but I don't remember there being any opium in the story, so that's why I've rated it a 2. And finally, death and injury, definitely a 2 out of 3. It's not an advanced book, and my final age rating on it is 15. My critique is a 7 out of 10. This book very much reads like an action movie, which is definitely a good part of it. And I actually have read that about this book before I got this book. I was reading some reviews about it, and people say it reads like an 80s action movie, and that's so right. It does. It's very action-packed. And there's a little bit of romance in it. But it takes place in Kowloon Walled City. If you're not familiar, definitely do some research on Kowloon Walled City, because it's such a fascinating place that once existed. The highest population density in the history of the world. Used to exist in Hong Kong. Kowloon is in Hong Kong. It's like the mainland part of Hong Kong, I believe. And then there's like Hong Kong Island, and then the mainland part is Kowloon. But it was demolished in 1994 or something. I can't remember, but super interesting. Like, I think, how many people? Like 40,000 people, and just the size of just a couple of blocks. Like, it's just crazy. But yeah, there's a lot of fight scenes. I will say that. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I do think this is pretty well written. One thing that I actually have as a big gripe about this book is the formatting. I actually had a problem with the formatting. The margins in this book are quite large. If you look at this, it's very, very big outside margins. It's almost like they didn't know how to do gutter margins, and so they just made all of the margins huge. And also, I have this thing about books being like left aligned. I just don't like how this book, the text is all left aligned. I prefer for it to be justified. But maybe that's a personal thing. But also, the spacing is very low. I definitely feel like it should have been more pages with better spacing. I think it would be easier to read that way. But perhaps those are just minor gripes. It is a good story, and we're going to get into spoilers now. All right, spoilers. So, this book is about a guy, okay? And I actually cannot remember what the main character's name is. I can't remember. I think you find out. Oh, Fang, maybe? I think it's Fang. It's a story about Fang. And there's like this fighting tournament, and he wants to emerge on top. It's, he's training, and it's basically it's basically like a no rules kind of thing. It's like once you start the fight, it's like somebody's got to die, or somebody's like it's either they die or they give up, something like that. It's a very high stakes game. Okay, and he's very much an underdog, and the characters are pretty well written, I would say. There is a little bit of romance because you have Fang and his girlfriend. And I do think that it's a good read. The characters are well written. The pacing feels a little bit off sometimes. In the beginning, it almost feels a little bit slow, and then it like really speeds up toward the end. But that definitely is only a minor gripe because overall it is a good book. It manages to pull off the story very well. And I do like that it takes place in Kowloon Walled City because I've been interested in Kowloon Walled City for a very long time, but it's not just about Kowloon Walled City. It's about Fang, and so it's definitely done well. I think the fact that Kowloon Walled City is just kind of in the background of the story, and it sets a really cool setting. It's a very cool setting to have a story take place. And there's even a part of the story where Fang goes to see his father, who lives in a part of Kowloon Walled City that's like way up high. And definitely an amazingly written scene. So I definitely recommend this book. I recommend other books more than this, but this is a solid read. And definitely if you like 80s action movies, like martial arts movies, you're definitely going to like this book. So I highly recommend it. But that's basically all I have to say about it. If you have anything to add to that, please let me know in the comments. If any of my age ratings were wrong, please let me know of that as well, because I'm really just trying to get an accurate age rating. The critique is absolutely just my opinion, but the age rating, I do want to be as objective as possible about that. So please feel free to correct me if I got anything wrong. I will leave you with that, but if you enjoyed this, please leave a like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more book reviews. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next book review.